We just ordered pizza at 10 p.m. at night.
Yes. And they're firing it up.
Thanks, Domino's. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Queer Collective podcast. My name is Karbon.
My name's Emily, and I look like I love pumpkin spice.
Yeah, you look like a basic bitch, not gonna lie.
I look like I love anything that's pumpkin spice.
You love pumpkin spice lattes. You love pictures at the pumpkin patch.
Yep.
On like a haystacks.
Mm-hmm. Can I start by telling the story about Papa John's?
Yeah, you can tell a story about Papa John's.
This is completely off topic. Karbon, I, and two of our roommates, Shafi and Yusuf, we're all high. So we decided that we'd walk and go get some food. They went and got some like wraps, and then Papa John's was right next door. So Karbon and I had just had like these massive burgers, but we were like, want to have some cinnamon nuts and cheese nuts as well? Yeah. So we went and did that. So we go in and order, but the two people working there weren't wearing masks. This one guy who's cooking the pizza has his mask below his nose, which you guys know how I feel about that. It's a little dick hanging out. Your dick's hanging out of your underwear, okay? We all know how I feel about that. So that's happening. The guy who takes my order isn't wearing a mask at all. And I'm like, okay, this is fine. And then we step outside and I'm like, okay, should we go on a walk? And then we just ended up kind of standing there for some reason and we didn't move. And I look inside and the guy who took our order sits down and he's wearing slides, flip-flops, and he just starts massaging his foot. And I point this out to my friends who just like stared back at me high and blank, just like nothing. They're all like, literally no response at all. I'm like, hey, sweet. And I start panicking. I'm like, he's gonna wash his hands, right? Yeah, this guy's gonna wash his hands. And then this lady goes in to get her food, and I see the guy stand up, not wash his hands. He goes over, not wearing a mask, doesn't wash his hands, goes over, pulls her pizza out of the oven, puts it in the box with his foot hands, breathing on it, and then he gives it to the lady. I'm like, you poor fool. And I'm like, you guys, I can't eat our tasty treats. Like, I just can't do it. And I'm like, what would you guys do? Is it like crazy and irrational for me to go in there and cancel the order? Like, what do I do? I'm like rambling at this point and getting no responses, just blank stares. Don't you love when that happens? And literally nothing from any of them. And then all that Karbon chimes in and says is, I bet he's the kind of person who goes to the gym, doesn't wear a mask, and then goes to work. At that point, I'm just like, I can't do it. That's too gross. So I go in and I'm like, hey, brother, gonna need to cancel my order. He's like, oh, it's already made. And I was like, yeah, I need to cancel it. And he goes and gets his like other guy who's masked but nose hanging out. He brings that guy over. Doesn't pull it up. He's just like, hey, yeah, your order is already made. And I was like, huh, okay, well, I saw that guy touch his foot and then not wash his hands and touch that other lady's pizza, and neither of you guys are wearing masks, and like cases are up. And I just start rambling. I'm like, he's like, okay, I think if I just press cancel on the order here on the register, then your money will just go back on your card. And I'm like, that's not how returns work. I've worked a minimum wage job, sir. I didn't say that, but I half said that. And then he's like, oh, okay. And then he like gives me my money back. I'm like, this is gross. I'm never eating here again. And that's the end of the story.
Such sad times. I actually really liked Papa John's.
Yo, I love Papa John's. It's so sad. I really love Papa John's.
They had to go and touch their feet.
Why you gotta touch your foot?
Damn, man.
Okay, so today we're gonna talk about our apocalypse plan.
Oh gosh.
Because it's also still a little bit spooky, and you guys know that I like spooky stuff.
We like spooky things. There's remnants of spook left.
Yeah, I'm gonna drag it out.
And also, we've been watching Fear the Walking Dead lately, so we're still in that spooky mood.
I love zombie shows. I love scary movies. It's like riding a roller coaster for me.
Yeah, it's
I get that
nice.
like adrenaline. I love it.
I like apocalypses.
Me too. It's my biggest fear. I think that's why I like watching it.
Yeah, honestly, I think that's why I like watching it too. I think that's why that's like my favorite category.
Yeah.
Is because I think that it can actually happen.
Like I said, it's always been my biggest fear, especially it like hit its peak last week. If you watched that video, I explained partially that I lived alone for a period of my life. And during that time, I got so scared that an apocalypse was going to happen while I lived there because I'd be fully alone and all of my neighbors sucked. They were all just like annoying old people. And like, you don't want to tie yourself to a broken wagon during an apocalypse.
Yeah, you want doomsday buddies.
You want good.
You want the people that you think are going to keep you safe.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was like, I'm far away from the people that I love. I'm screwed. I'm not going to have a good opportunity here. I'm just going to be dead. And there's almost no food in this house.
It's just popcorn and
a few cans of tomato soup.
Yeah, that's it.
It's over for me.
What kind of apocalypse do you think is the most likely to happen?
I was thinking either like a nuclear disaster or a nuclear disaster or like climate change just goes too effing far and just like everything's a shit show, kind of like what's that movie 2012?
Yeah,
how the world just goes effing crazy.
2012.
That's what I see in my brain at night. Also, I always used to get really worried about zombies, but like I know that that's probably like the least thing that's gonna happen, but I do like now that this pandemic has happened and we're watching Fear of the Walking Dead, I'm connecting a lot of it to COVID. And I'm like, wow, like if the death toll was like way crazier or I don't know.
Well, the thing is that like there are substances in the world that do make you act like a zombie. They don't necessarily like...
Say more.
See, I'll say more right now. I'll say more right this moment. And I think one of them that I'm aware of, I believe, is bath salts.
And these aren't your typical bath salts, though, right? This isn't what you're going to find at Bath and Body Works.
Yeah, I'm talking about the hardcore drug, okay, that you shove somewhere. I don't know how it works. I actually know how you consume it.
Didn't like a while ago a guy in Toronto eat someone's face off?
That's the thing. Okay, so there's substances, like I mentioned, on this earth, on this planeto, that do make you act like a zombie. So, and there's one in Toronto. I've heard of one where like I forgot exactly where, like location wise, but he essentially didn't feel any pain and he fully acted like a zombie, like the whole like kind of stuff, except this was like a fast zombie. So he would sprint down the road, and the cops were shooting bullets at him and he wouldn't go down because he didn't feel it happening. Obviously, when you have bullets in your body, your organs do start failing, so that would cause you to actually die. It's not a matter of a headshot necessarily when you're on like substances that make you do this, but you don't feel it, so you just keep going until your body fails. And he was eating a guy. He was eating another dude, and he wouldn't get off of him until he was like physically pulled off. And so, like, you lose yourself. You lose your ability to feel. I guess then you have this weird craving
to eat a face.
To eat people.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's a thing. So, like, technically, Fear the Walking Dead or The Walking Dead or, like, the other Walking Dead spin-offs can happen.
Those ones are more, like, pandemic-wise, though, because those are all viruses. But the thing is
that they wouldn't be slow. Is the thing.
Yeah, but with this one, you're just talking about everyone having to take this drug versus like a pandemic, a virus would just spread on its own.
So there's also been research around viruses and like what would need to happen in a virus in order for you to become quote unquote a zombie. And I don't have all the research off the top of my head because I like read stuff.
Because reading is what? Fundamental! There you have it, darling.
And watched videos on it a long time ago. It was years ago. However, if it attacks certain parts of your brains, the brains that essentially tell you like, oh hey, don't eat people, and like
it's like your whole frontal lobe.
And like,
welcome class to Emily's biology class. So if you see here the model of the brain, you see this whole part here, the frontal lobe. Its main task is just to tell you not to eat people.
Disclaimer, the information in this lecture is based off of alternative facts derived entirely from feelings. Therefore, Emily is not responsible for anything or anyone. We hope you enjoyed this lecture, and please be sure to drop a donation in the bin on your way out to support our fight against science.
Back to the story. So after I'd moved out of the house where I was living alone and I was really scared of like an apocalypse happening, then I moved into a house with a million roommates. But I was still kind of scared because now I was living downtown, which was far away from my parents, who live separately in different locations. So it's like, how are you going to find both of your parents? And then I was also with Laura, and we obviously we split up during the day. And then your parents are in a completely separate location of both my parents. So I'm like, how are we going to get the gang back together? And that was my biggest stress for a while. So I was so stressed that I would wake you up in the middle of the night because I'd be having nightmares about it happening. And I forced you to come up with plans with me.
yeah, this is very true.
Do you remember?
Yeah, you were like, all right, what's our first location? And then after that's done, what's our secondary location? She would make me come up with like plans. And I'm like, you're the one that's worried. Why don't you come up with plans? But I had to like come up with a primary location where we like meet up, and then like a secondary location of like where we go afterwards. And like, I'm starting to think we're going to need some emergency backpacks.
Yeah, well, okay, this is what gave me the idea. Do you remember when you're in elementary school and like the firefighters come and then they tell you to go home and make a plan with your parents?
Right. And no one ever did.
No one did it. But that's what we did. We made a plan.
But we still don't have the stuff. Like, we don't have the backpacks full of like essentials.
I would end up breaking into it for sure. I'd be like, oh my God, I need the yarn. And then I'd go in and I'd take it.
Yarn.
Oh my God, I'm
possibly
so
get it.
hungry. I want a granola bar. And then the bag would be empty by the time I actually needed it.
You're ridiculous. You would have to hide it in a place where you don't remember instantly.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like not too hidden, because that's an emergency backpack, you know? You can't
Yeah.
can't just go in through your closet and then go into a bin that's in another bin that's in a box that's, you know, it's ready on location.
Yeah. So here are the two plans that I've heard most often. First one is get your boys and we go into Costco. And we're just gonna post up in Costco, board up the walls, you have everything you need. But I'm gonna tell you, there's a flaw in that effing plan.
Of course.
Okay? There's already a bunch of people in Costco. There's people who have keys to the store. Like, there's just a lot of like territory
and
drama
other people
that could happen
that will
there.
think of Costco
Fully. And then they're in very populated areas. Yeah, there's that idea that
Huge
I've heard.
flaw.
And then there's one where it's just like go up north, go where people are not.
I kind of prefer that.
Yeah, I prefer that one too.
I would, in general, I would say go where people are not.
But we live downtown Toronto, and it's like getting out of the
It's
city.
like, how do you get out?
Exactly.
You would have to be on the outskirts of Toronto in order to even get out of Toronto, in order to go where people are not. And if you're in the middle of the city, you're so screwed. Like you get stuck in all of the traffic and whatnot. So I was like, all right, we're gonna get on our bikes and we're gonna bike until we're not in Toronto.
Wait, okay. So this is our plan.
Well, it's not a good plan.
It's funny though. But it actually soothed me and I was able to go back to sleep after we came up with it. So at the time when I like panicked and woke Laura up, you were working at a Mile Detox location in Davisville, which is like far away from where I was at school and where we live. Like far away-ish. You have to take the subway. And I was like, first of all, we need a primary location that we're going to meet up if we're not both already together.
Yeah.
And shit goes down. We have to know, and you have to stay there and hug a tree. you do not leave and try and find the other person because the other person's trying to get you.
Yeah.
You have to stay where you are.
Exactly.
So we decided it was going to be our house. We go meet at the house. Then I'm like, okay, what if like the subway isn't working, no public transit's working? How are we going to get to each other?
I was like, then I'll get a bike.
Yeah. I'm like, where are you going to get a bike?
I'll either steal a bike or I'll get one of those community bikes.
Yeah.
Get one of the community bikes, hop on over and pedal over to the house.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay, what if like the road is cracking and there's like earthquakes and shit? What are you going to do?
I'm going to go around the cracks and I'll get there.
I'm going to go around the cracks. I'm not going to jump into the cracks.
I just won't go in the cracks. I'll go around the cracks.
What if the crack is like the size of Toronto?
Then you're gone.
I'll just be waiting for you forever. So there's that idea. And then once we get together at the house, we pack up supplies and we get out of Toronto on our bikes.
This is why we need to pack supplies pre-hand. It's going to take so long to even... What if we don't even have all the supplies? Then we got to hit up Costco first.
No. Since we're already downtown Toronto, it's hard to get out. Wouldn't it be better to just stay indoors?
No.
Lock it down until shit's like settled a bit.
No, because you don't know when it's going to settle. You can't depend on that. As World War Z states, movimiento es vida. Movimiento es vida.
What does that mean?
That means that movement is life.
Okay.
If you move and you adapt, then you live.
Everyone's ultimate goal would be to like go up north, go where people aren't. Whatever. That's what everyone says. So that has also somewhat kind of led to what my dream is for my life, which is just to like live on a self-sustainable property, basically just me and you in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, homestead it. So like last year, pre-COVID times when you could still travel, Karbon and I went to Cuba, and basically the only channel on the TV was the Discovery Channel, and they kept playing Homestead Rescue. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it, but it's basically about these people. A lot of them, it's in the US, so a lot of these people were hit really hard by the 2008 recession and like lost their houses, lost everything. So they decided to just go buy a really cheap piece of property and like try to make it a homestead where it's like a fully self-sustaining property where like you have your own energy source, your own water source, your own food source, etc. But they all just fail miserably because they have no clue how to do any of that.
Or some of them like will pick properties where like they don't even know if they can get water.
This family goes in every time and teaches them how to do everything. Like the dad's a contractor, the daughter is like really good with greenhouses, she's also a bit of a contractor, and then the brother is all about like animals, just like figuring out how
he's a hunter and also like protection as well.
Yeah, like say if there's like a mountain lion or something in the area, like how to like make sure you can like secure your area so you're not prey. But it's really cool and I like it a lot, and it's made me want to do that, which is like honestly bonus points because in the event of an apocalypse you're already effing good. You know, but the issue is I would need to learn basically everything.
We would.
We would be on Homestead Rescue.
You know, I can't dance my way out of it. I can't take a photo and replace food and shelter. I can't make a video about the apocalypse.
Yeah, we don't have very good like apocalypse skills. I would like to learn more earth skills. Protecting myself isn't my biggest concern. I would love to learn more about gardening.
But the thing is that like if people find that, they're gonna come and take it in an apocalypse. They're not gonna care. There's no laws.
This is true.
So that's where the protecting yourself comes into play. The real danger is other people wanting whatever it is that you have, whether that's your own fort that keeps you safe or your garden or just your food in general. All of that stuff, like that becomes the most valuable thing if it in an apocalypse. However, if it's an apocalypse against nature, we just ain't gonna win that shit.
Yeah. At what point do you just shoot yourself in the head?
Well, it depends. I think that I would try to live. I think I would shoot myself in the head if it was like radiation type thing.
Yeah.
You know, where like literally the entire world was full of radiation. Say, for example, we had like a nuke war. And if only the rich got to live in some sort of like bunker. First of all, I'm not going to pay to live in a bunker.
I don't
Second
live
of
in no
all,
bunker.
yeah, I don't want to live in a bunker. That sounds like the worst place to spend the rest of my life.
No.
I would rather die than live confined in a bunker. Even if there's the chance that in like 5 years, 10 years, we'd be out.
Yeah.
No way I'm going to rely on that.
I don't know. I think maybe if someone gave me hope as like 5 years.
If you're seeing with your own eyes, your mind's eyes, that everything's nuked, there's no trees, there's no animals, there's no foliage, forestry. There's no way that it's all going to grow back in 5 years. It's impossible.
What's the place that had a nuclear Chernobyl? How long ago was that?
Chernobyl?
Yeah.
1986.
Okay.
So it's like over 30 years.
Yeah.
I don't know. Math, you know? Just do the math. It's been like over 30 years. I don't want to live in a bunker for over 30 years.
Okay, which zombie movie would you rather be in the most?
Ooh.
Okay.
Are we talking based on like how epic the zombie movie is, or like how
The circumstances.
safe it is to be in it?
I guess how safe, like your choice of which way that you'd want to live. You're living like the main characters do. So we're watching Fear of the Walking Dead right now, which they don't leave the city, but they end up being, I guess, like lucky, and they're in like this perimeter that the army ends up securing, but there's like a lot of restrictions around the perimeter.
So far, by the way, we don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, we're like only a few episodes deep, but they're like relatively safe at the moment, I guess, but they're like questioning it. Or would you like to be in a regular Walking Dead scenario where you're kind of like moving around, you're trying to find your own sites? You maybe end up in like some locations for some periods of time. You know what I mean? Like you're always sort of on the move, being random places, never feeling too safe.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or, hold on, you're trying to jump the gun. Zombieland, where it's kind of just like you're just shooting the shit with some people and you're like going on an adventure the whole time.
And there's World War Z.
What happens in World War Z again?
They run fast.
The zombies are fast?
Yeah, they're so fast. And the turnaround is quick.
Maybe.
It's like as soon as you're bitten, it's literally like 10 seconds and you're a zombie.
Holy shit.
And you're fast.
Jesus.
Yeah. It's like the worst out of all of them that you just listed.
That one doesn't feel comparable. Use my 3.
I want to be in Fear the Walking Dead because usually and we're talking like just zombie movies right now, but there's obviously other scenarios. But usually when you're talking like a zombie movie, like an apocalyptic zombie movie or show, the main character wakes up and they're in it already. And they're like, oh shit, you know, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be in some accident and then I wake up and zombies are everywhere and like everyone that I know is dead. I want to see it happening and then be able to like find my people and respond and move. You know?
I agree.
I would question if I woke up tomorrow and there were zombies everywhere, I would question if I'm alive. I would question if I'm in a different dimension. I would question if I was in a simulation all along. I would think that like my whole life has been a simulation if I woke up tomorrow and there were zombies everywhere.
Yeah,
I don't want to wake up to it, okay? I want to see it evolving. And like sometimes I already do question that my life is a simulation. You know, don't push it. Jeebus.
Okay, I have another one for you. The next one is Silent Place or Bird Box.
That's so hard, man. I don't know. I think I'd rather be able to speak, you know, than... And you can still see like inside, I guess. As long as you're not outside, which is still pretty depressing because I like outside. But I think I would rather that over not speaking / making noises. If you make any noise, if you fart, you could be dead.
True.
You know?
And also then you definitely couldn't have a dog.
Yeah. And I
Or a
like
baby.
dog. I like dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't have a baby. The part of the movie where like the lady has to give birth completely silent.
Yeah, what is that?
Impossible.
That
no
is
way.
always something that happens in every single apocalypse movie. Someone always is like
They
gonna have
they
a
have
baby.
to give birth.
Yeah. I'm like,
Well, I mean, babies are born like every minute, so someone's gonna
True.
give birth during
this
an
is facts.
apocalypse.
This is facts. Okay, for which zombie apocalypse people, which group would you most want to join?
What are the groups?
Like just which group of characters? It can be any movie you want now.
I'd kind of want to be like in the hero group, so to speak,
Yeah.
where you like go out and you take care of each other and you go through some stuff, but then you make it to like the bordered place, and then you're like, all right, guys, it's all good.
It's time.
Yeah. But the thing is that you probably lose a couple people in the process, and you know how it goes. White people don't die first in these movies. So I'm already at a disadvantage.
But you're the lesbian character. I feel like the lesbian character lives.
Oh, is that who I am?
Yeah, you're the lesbian character.
I think that the worst situation to be in would be like Will Smith on I Am Legend.
Oh, where he's all by himself?
And he loses his dog.
Yeah, F that.
I don't want to be that. At that point, 100% I'd shoot myself in the head.
Yeah. So what movie would you guys be in? Comment down below.
Comment.
What's your movie? What's your escape plan? If you want to keep it to yourself, I respect that. I'm not going to copy you. I need to come up with my own. Clearly our plan isn't very good. We need to workshop it, and this made it very clear. We need escape bags. We need to know where to even get a gun.
Where do we get guns?
Did anyone know? Do you know?
Do you know?
I feel like it's probably a good thing if none of us know. I don't know.
But do you know? Should I know? I should know. I feel like I should know. Comment down below which apocalyptic movie is your fave, or show if you prefer shows, because I'm down to watch these, okay? We can have more discussions later on. Maybe we'll actually have like doomsday prep bags at that point if we like do a part 2.
I can show you what's in my doomsday prep bag.
Oh my god, should we do like a, you know how like, for example, photographers, they'll be like, what's in my camera bag 2020? We could be like, what's in my doomsday prep bag 2020? 2021.
Yeah.
Bro, let's be realistic. We won't have one by the end of the year.
So like, comment, subscribe, and thank you for watching.
We will catch you guys in the next pod.
Peace.